Yes, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, allow me to first congratulate the Honourable Prime Minister for presenting a budget consisting of a bold and forward-looking roadmap for the future of Mauritius, and for also having listened to the demand of the people regarding the pension system and the means test model. We are, Madam Speaker, living in a VUCA world. Volatility, uncertainty, change and ambiguity form the order of the day. And within that context, this budget demonstrates leadership's vision, courage, responsibility, and most importantly, foresightedness. It is a budget that focuses on preparing our country for the future, that balances economic efficiency with social justice, that protects the vulnerable while investing in growth, a budget that addresses today's challenges while preparing tomorrow's opportunities. Most importantly, this budget places future generations at the center of national policy making. It is worth highlighting that strong performance of our digital economy did actually take place. Despite a challenging global environment, the ICT sector maintained a long-term growth strategy, expanding by 4.5% in 2025. Maybe the leader of the opposition read reports selectively, or maybe he didn't want to acknowledge the fact that and that was reported by the Bank of Mauritius, Madam Speaker, investment reported by the Bank of Mauritius in ICT in 2025 was 849 million rupees versus 163 million rupees under the MSM government just 1 year before we came into power. And this budget, now there are 6 key pillars that emerge prominently. It is the determination to build a Mauritius that is stronger, more resilient, more innovative and better prepared for the profound transformations that are reshaping our world. And among these pillars, one stands out as perhaps the most transformative of all. It's the pillar dedicated to digitalization and artificial intelligence. I am sure the leader of the opposition would be watching this intervention, having casted doubts in the minds of people with regards to artificial intelligence in the intervention this morning. They are actually playing the same game that they played some time back. No wonder, under the governance of the MSM regime, there was hardly any progress in the technology sphere. The laptops exploded. Not just that, Madam Speaker, this country, our youth, deserved so much better than just having a clown. And we all know that we cannot put a crown on the head of a clown and expect him to be a king. That doesn't happen. And this was what the expectation was back then, Madam Speaker. And there is a simple reason to the fact that digitalization and AI took a major part in this budget. AI is not merely another technological innovation. AI is defining transformation in our era. It is a philosophy. It takes vision. It takes people to be able to foresee this. And most importantly, it takes leadership that has at heart the good of the country and the good of the people. It is changing the way economies function and the way governments operate, the way businesses compete and the way people learn, work and communicate. Experts now compare the emergence of artificial intelligence to the Industrial Revolution, the invention of electricity and the arrival of the internet, which hit Mauritius around 95-96. And its impact will be felt across every sector of the society. The question, therefore, is no longer whether AI will transform Mauritius. The real question is whether Mauritius will be prepared for that transformation. And this budget provides a clear answer, Madam Speaker. Yes, Mauritius is preparing already because this government has chosen not to wait for the future. We have chosen to build it. Many countries are now only beginning conversations around AI. But Mauritius has already taken actions in that direction. And over the past 18 months, my ministry has worked systematically to build the foundations of a trusted, inclusive, and responsible AI ecosystem. And it goes without saying that for us to be able to do effective AI, we need data, volume, variety, and velocity, and data that is reliable. And with the foundations left by the previous government, we had to re-look at everything, at the way data was created, collected, exchanged, shared. And now we've been able to, Madam Speaker, re-solidify the foundations that were left. And on that foundations we built the blueprint, which was not another document of the government. It was a commitment that we took. A commitment to modernize public services, to strengthen digital infrastructure, to develop skills, to create an innovation-driven economy, and to prepare Mauritius for the opportunities and challenges of the digital age. In 1.5 years, Madam Speaker, we can already point to tangible results, which the leader of the opposition could not see in the morning. He's got a strong affinity with the movie Sholay, and I think we will all agree that he plays the role of Gabbar Singh, just casting doubts in the minds of people. And I would go further, stating that it's not just Gabbar Singh, it's Garbar Singh. Because it is actually casting doubts in the minds of people, and that should not actually happen. And listening to the leader of the opposition, it thrusts into prominence that neither he nor his MSM team believed in technology and technological development of our people, our youth, our entrepreneurs, and our technopreneurs. There were two incubators 10 years back. 10 years later, only 2 incubators. And now, the Prime Minister has announced that we will be establishing further incubators as part of the innovation program. And why do I say that they didn't believe in tech? It didn't take them a single second to sit back and think what would be the impact of cutting this country off the internet on the 1st November 2024. And they did it without no hesitation. And that was, Madam Speaker, a very strong message to our youth that they were not taken care of, that they did not matter. And we tell our youth that they matter. This is why we have prepared a very interesting program with regards to development. And talking about AI for AI, once again, the leader of the opposition did not understand the philosophy behind AI for AI. AI for AI stands for, and I hope the leader of the opposition is listening now, artificial intelligence for all inclusive. We want to do it in an inclusive manner. This is why we have prepared that training program that I'll be talking about shortly. And coming back to some of the achievements, we launched the MOCOS Plus, which could actually collect more meaningful data of people who fell victim of cybercrime. I heard the leader of the opposition talking about cyber security and social media, stating that nothing was done. What did they do in 10 years? In 1.5 years, we already established several pillars that are already helping to prepare or to make our cyberspace safer. So MOCOS Plus is a modern AI-enabled cybercrime reporting system. The introduction of online MVL, the road taxes that are paid by Mauritians. Today we have an average of 9,000 transactions every month, and that is set to increase. The establishment of an interministerial committee to oversee the implementation of the blueprint. The deployment of the national data strategy. The implementation of information security standards ISO 27002. The launch of Correct Super App, which now is being used by more than 500,000 Mauritians in Mauritius today, and there'll be more services that will be added to it. The implementation of child online protection initiatives. The establishment of the National AI Unit, which was a budget measure of the year 25-26. I felt very sad hearing the leader of the opposition this morning saying that it was not established. It was very well established. It is operating under my ministry. It's located at ABAN. I think I should invite the leader of the opposition for a visit at the AI unit sometime, so this can actually clear any doubts that he has in his mind. The budget 2627, Madam Speaker, also provides a dedicated funding for the further operationalization of the National AI Unit. And this allocation will support the acquisition of specialized software, collaborative digital tools, office equipment, and other essential resources that are necessary to implement the AI strategy. And this investment will strengthen the unit's capacity to coordinate AI initiatives across government. The leader of the opposition also raised certain concerns with regards to the regulation of AI. He wanted to see in the budget speech that there is a paragraph on the establishment of an AI Act for regulating AI. Maybe he skipped reading the FAIR guidelines that accompanied the AI strategy. And FAIR standing for fairness, accountability, inclusiveness, and integrity of algorithms. And now we do not only talk about the integrity of people, as professionals, as operators in organizations or in the society. We also talk about the integrity of algorithms. And this already forms part of the FAIR guidelines. These are principles-based. We want to let innovation take place in the country. We want innovation to breathe because we believe in the ability and the capacity of our young brains in this country. We do not want to stifle innovation. Having a regulation like the EU AI Act at the moment in this country, with that we run the risk of stifling innovation. We want to let our youth try and test their creative genius because there is a lot of it. Certainly a claim that has not so far been substantiated by empirical evidence, Madam Speaker, is when the mobile phone hit our markets, 95, 96, or maybe a few years earlier than that. People thought back then that using a mobile phone could actually cause cancer to them. But look at the world today. I think some of us here are probably carrying, and people outside are carrying more than one mobile phones for their business purposes or even social purposes. And this is how AI has already integrated our lives. And there they stand. There they stand talking about AI being dangerous. Yes, it has its risks, but everything has a risk, and we will manage that risk. We'll manage those risks using technological methods and using legislative statements. And we refuse the status quo. We do not want to be clamped down by thoughts that were actually projected this morning by the leader of the opposition. And the change that we want to bring goes through AI. It will play a determining role in what this government wants to achieve and what are the expectations of the people of this country. Certainly, at some point, we will have to legislate. And the act that will come into play will address critical issues such as accountability, transparency, explainability, human oversight, data governance, data bias, and mitigation of those elements. There was this case, Madam Speaker, in the US, where a lady driver was in an autonomous vehicle. The car hit a person, and there was a fatality, and the lady was ultimately convicted. So the question there was, who carries the accountability of the fault in the machine? Was it the operator? But it's autonomous, there's no operator. Was it the manufacturer? Was it the government that allowed the use of that vehicle? So these are gray areas that need to be addressed, and we will address that at the right moment in time. We will not jump the gun. We will do things at the right time in a chronological order. There are also other challenges like weaponization of AI. There can be false positives and false negatives when AI is being used in several areas, most importantly in the health sector. So yes, they need to be addressed, and they will be addressed, Madam Speaker. Allow me to dwell very quickly into the National AI Strategy because it represents one of the most important policy initiatives ever undertaken by our ministry. First of all, the way we prepared the blueprint for the ICT sector. There was, by the previous government, a budget earmarked for this between 12 to 18 million. And the Ministry of IT, the team there, they decided for themselves, and I encourage this, that they could prepare this strategy themselves. And we did the same thing for the AI strategy, in as much as there were funds that were earmarked for preparing the AI strategy. We saved those funds. So the leader of the opposition mentioned 25 million rupees. Yes, it was there. It was not used because the people in my ministry worked together to prepare the AI strategy, which would have otherwise created a charge that would have consumed out of this 25 million rupees. So the work was done. And we did it not the MSM way. We did it the l'Alliance du Changement way. We did it our way. Because we believe in our people. And we believe they could do the work. And they did the work. And they did the work very well. Madam Speaker, a key significant measure announced in the budget relates to international digital connectivity. Every AI application, every cloud service, every digital transaction, and every data exchange sits on our submarine cables when it comes to international transactions. The SAFE cable is coming to end of life next year, and the announcement made by the Prime Minister with regards to the Google's America-India Connect initiative, Mauritius will play a very important role in there, and this actually gives effect to the idea of Mauritius playing a corridor role between Asia and Africa. Without connectivity, we can't do nothing. We need to have that connectivity, and we thank the Honourable Prime Minister for this initiative. The new international connectivity arrangements, Madam Speaker, will strengthen our links with India, South Africa and Singapore, while providing additional resilience to our submarine cable infrastructure. In practical terms, it means greater redundancy, attractiveness, and confidence for companies seeking to invest in our country. Little knowledge is dangerous, Madam Speaker. And when I heard the leader of the opposition talk about the cooling requirements, telling the Minister of Energy, asking him where we will get the water from. But it's a closed-loop cooling facility. It's the same water that will go through the cycle, it'll cool down again to come back to cool down the servers. Why do we need additional water? This is what I say. This is why I say that little knowledge is dangerous. Maybe he shouldn't have dwelt into this debate. When you don't know, you don't talk. Right. Now, the cloud computing facilities. We've been having cloud computing for years. And it seems like, in the understanding of the leader of the opposition, we are now going to implement cloud computing. The previous IT minister even asked. Everybody is talking about cloud. But nobody thought about what will happen the day it rains. Well, okay. And, we are opening the country to foreign investors, for them to come in and to establish data centers to operate in Mauritius. Yes, we have an energy crisis. In the able hands of the Minister for Energy, we are able to plan ahead. And one of the conditions that will accompany those data centers will be the fact that the data centers need to be green data centers with their own batteries. That would be the primary source of power, while the secondary source of power will be the Central Electricity Board. And this actually allows us to be even a greener country on the global digital map. Plus, we will also be able to have better data sovereignty and data residency. Our ambition, Madam Speaker, is clear. Mauritius must become the trusted digital gateway of the Indian Ocean region. And we have also established the vision of making of our country the AI leader in the region. Our strategic location, political stability, strong institutions, and commitment to responsible AI place us in a unique position to seize this opportunity. And we've lost 10 beautiful years in the hands of an incompetent leadership. We lost several ranks in terms of our classification, even on the African continent, with regards to digitalization. And AI gives us this next opportunity. And we should not at no cost miss that opportunity. And this is why I was really, really very pleased and glad to see the focus that has been laid on the budget with regards to AI and digitalization. And this budget recognizes that countries that will succeed in the AI era will not necessarily be those with the largest economies. Even SIDS, small island developing states, can. And we actually need to focus on our people. And this is why We welcome the decision of the Prime Minister for investing in our human capital. Right from the beginning, and the term used by the Prime Minister, native AI Mauritians, aligns with the fact that 12,000 grade 9 students will receive access to AI-enabled AI learning tools. And those people, we are making them ready for the jobs of tomorrow. Yes, jobs are being replaced. Yes, jobs will be replaced. There's no second way about it. Jobs will be replaced. But people who are not using AI today will be overtaken by other people. So will companies and so will countries. Jobs will actually transform. Jobs like data architects, data engineers, data modelers, AI algorithm verifiers, these jobs are now coming into existence. And the native AI nation that we are creating will actually be working on in those roles. Digital transformation, Madam Speaker, is not only about delivering better services to citizens. It is also about empowering public officers with modern tools that enable greater collaboration, productivity, and efficiency. And we acknowledge that the current email system does have challenges. This is why we are reviewing that model. And when we review, we will also innovate, and we are also bringing elements of artificial intelligence in there. We cannot digest the fact that today, government officials do not have an official video conferencing solution. If we look at how many public officials travel on the roads on a daily basis to go for meetings, and we talk about productivity, these actually do not align at all. Therefore, it is necessary to enable them with an online platform which they can use for their video conferencing and for their meetings. You look for someone on the phone, the person is not available, so you have to wait for hours till the person comes back. In the new system, we are including an instant messaging system so that public officials can instantly message their counterparts for files to move through the systems quickly. And we are also establishing, as we said, an intranet which will give them an indication of the number of files that are awaiting their actions. For far too long, conversations have remained in the air with regards to digitalization of files that move across ministries. With the electronic document management system, that will become a reality. There are a few sites where they've been implemented already. We're now going to integrate them, and that will form part of the intranet that we are looking at establishing. So there will be a total of 50,000 Mauritians that will be trained on AI, and we welcome this measure very, very well. And going forward, Madam Speaker, with regards to our entrepreneurs, the market is not just Mauritius. They do have actually challenges today. They have challenges with regards to the mentorship, support that they receive, and also access to the market. The Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, under which there is this digital protocol, now also allows the movement of data. Over and above the movement of people, capital, goods, and services, now there can also be the movement of data, which means that for our entrepreneurs, for our technopreneurs, they are not limited only to Mauritius. There are agreements, there are arrangements that can get them to cross the shore and to reach out to the African continent. And another major initiative is the Champion of AI program. And if we do not have this championship, we will keep on only talking about AI and things will not happen. And as we said, we do not want to get into analysis paralysis. We want to act. And these champions will play the role of key actors within their respective ministries. Today, we have a set of e-services that have been deployed. We have the e-health service managed by the Honorable Minister Bichu. We also have the services under the NLTA managed by Minister Mohamed. So there are more and more services that will be added. But the current scheme of duty, Madam Speaker, only caters for 9 to 4. But those services, they run 24/7. So we are very glad to see the approval of this project that we propose to have 24/7 support for digital services, which implies that as people face challenges using the services, the online services, they will be able to call centers for having support at any time round the clock. And those services will also be complemented by the digital interactive virtual assistant, short of which is DIVA. So DIVA is well said to be the AI partner of every Mauritian. When you invoke the app, the super app Correct, on your phone, you will see Diva as well in there, ready to provide you with services. And Diva doesn't take sick leaves. Diva doesn't take coffee breaks. Diva is always available. So in the next fiscal, Madam Speaker, Diva is becoming a reality, and will start with the intranet system. The establishment of the Cyber Forensic Laboratory will go a long way in helping the CERT MU and also the police.
Diva is your best friend, right? Is that what I
Diva is my AI partner. And Diva will be the AI partner of every inhabitant of our republic.
I was teasing.
And I think the leader of the opposition will be happy to use Diva as well. And I will tell you why. I will tell you why. That is because on the e-parliament solution, there will be this chatbot, and the chatbot will be empowered by Diva. So he can just sit and ask Diva questions around the debate that we're having today. Every time Diva has been mentioned, it'll appear. They will not have to go through the different sessions, the date, the years on which those debates took place. And that will enhance the productivity of government officials who are involved in preparing responses to PQs. Sorry? I will not steal the thunder of the Speaker.
We'll do the needful.
Exactly. Yes.
No, but we're talking. Huh? We're talking.
Right. So going forward, Madam Speaker, there is this concept of tell us only once. Our people get frustrated when they go to government counters and people at those government counters ask them for documents which are already in possession of the government. Therefore, we have created this central population database, and there'll be extension to it so that data can actually be accessed across different government departments, so we avoid asking people for documents that they have submitted already. The special economic zone is yet another major measure that deserves particular attention. At a time when countries across the world are competing to attract investors in AI, cloud computing and data centers, the SEZ will be able to contribute to our GDP. And this is how we see it. We can have AI development workloads exported to Mauritius, and our youth will be able to have jobs to create AI programs and to write those AI programs for the rest of the world. Even if we are small, our ambitions are big. Potential is there. It's a matter of composing them together under the right leadership, Madam Speaker. And we see that happening by way of this budget as well. And yet another measure, Madam Speaker, it relates to the taxation of ICT services. So yet again, for a very long time, we have a lot of international operators in the field of digital who are present on our market, who are operating on our market, but they are not officially here. And all the payments that they are receiving out of Mauritians' pockets are not being taxed. But this budget now caters for that taxation, and it will contribute to the bottom line of our country. We also opened the low Earth orbit satellite technologies to provide additional redundancy to operators, and that will attract further interest in using Mauritius as a land for investment. Madam Speaker, our youth will not be asking what we did for them one day when we're not here anymore. They will be seeing the changes, the developments that we have brought. And the question, when did the AI revolution begin? Was Mauritius prepared? Were we bold enough to anticipate the change? Were we visionary enough to invest in our people? And were we responsible enough to build trust and safeguards? The answers to these questions are provided by the budget. Yes, Mauritius is preparing, Mauritius is investing, and Mauritius is innovating. As Minister responsible for Information Technology, Communication and Innovation, I am particularly proud that AI and digital transformation represent one of the central pillars of this budget and of our economic strategy that builds the future. The future, Madam Speaker, as read by the President of the Republic, is the bridge that we are building. We have already started building the bridge. So this budget is about preparing Mauritius for tomorrow while addressing the needs and challenges of today. It lays the foundation for a future-ready nation by embracing digital transformation, AI, and greater efficiency across the economy. This budget seeks to create new opportunities for future generations. At the same time, it remains firmly anchored in the principles of social justice. While we are using AI, we need to respect the constitutional provisions, the fundamental rights of our people, whether it is the freedom of expression, the right to fair trial, because if decisions are automated, we need to have human in the loop. Exactly. That is critical. And this is what the regulation we will be bringing will include. And I hope that the leader of the opposition is listening to me. Il dort. And Madam, as I was saying, at the same time, this budget remains firmly anchored in the principles of social justice, ensuring that progress is inclusive and that no one is left behind as Mauritius advances towards becoming an AI native and knowledge-driven economy. May the projects under this budget help our fellow Mauritians benefit better from what the digital revolution has to offer. And as Minister for IT, I will see to it that this happens. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
That was, yes, you did very well in terms of time as well, not just in terms of time. Yes, Honorable Ramdas.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Madame la Présidente, d'abord, permettez-moi de saluer et féliciter l'honorable Premier ministre et ministre des Finances, ainsi que le ministre délégué aux Finances, honorable Damri, pour la préparation, ainsi que la présentation de ce document, qui est le discours budget, le document constituant le Appropriation Bill 2026-2027. Je ne peux m'empêcher de constater, Madame la Présidente, qu'il n'est que 21h07, et bien que nous sommes de ce côté de la Chambre, tous ici présents au sein de l'hémicycle, à faire le travail pour lequel nous sommes payés des deniers publics, mais de l'autre côté, les bancs de l'opposition sont complètement vides. Mais le peuple comprendra qu'il fait froid, et le peuple comprendra qu'il fait froid et que les membres de l'opposition sont probablement tous chez eux à bien au chaud sous la couette. Madame la Présidente, Madame Speaker, this time last year, the Honourable Prime Minister committed to guiding our Republic on a path from abyss to prosperity. And today, a year later, the outcome of those measures implemented have already borne some promising results. And these results, Madam Speaker, include a decline in the rate of unemployment, a decrease in the inflation rate, and an increase in the GDP across most sectors in Mauritius. Madame la Présidente, l'année dernière, lors de mon intervention durant les débats budgétaires, j'avais mis l'emphase sur le fait que le changement ne se réalise pas en un jour. Le changement ne se réalise pas du jour au lendemain. Rome n'a pas été construite en un jour. Et je constate aujourd'hui que cette vérité, Madame la Présidente, demeure plus pertinente que jamais. Parce que gouverner, Madame la Présidente, gouverner ne consiste pas à distribuer des illusions. Gouverner, ce n'est pas faire des promesses, ce que l'on sait ne jamais pouvoir tenir. Gouverner, ce n'est pas repousser les problèmes réels jusqu'à ce qu'ils explosent entre les mains de nos enfants qui, eux, n'auront pas demandé cela. Gouverner, c'est en fait, Madame la Présidente, regarder la réalité en face. Même lorsque cette réalité peut être inconfortable. Même lorsque cette réalité, même lorsque certaines décisions sont politiquement coûteuses, Madame la Présidente. Et c'est précisément ce que l'honorable Premier ministre et ministre des Finances a essayé de faire par le truchement de ce budget. Madame la Présidente, parlant de la réforme de la pension, dans le cadre du budget 2026-2027, les réformes engagées en matière de la pension doivent être comprises pas de manière isolée, mais à la lumière des transformations profondes qu'a connu notre société. Nous faisons face aujourd'hui, malheureusement, à une réalité démographique incontournable. L'allongement de l'espérance de vie, l'évolution de la structure de notre population et la diminution progressive du ratio entre actifs et retraités. Et ces facteurs, Madame la Présidente, exercent regrettablement une pression énorme, une pression croissante sur notre système de protection sociale et en particulier sur la soutenabilité de notre régime de pension. Donc, le choix qui s'impose à nous aujourd'hui, Madame la Présidente, n'est pas donc entre générosité et rigueur, mais entre réformes responsables aujourd'hui et déséquilibre de demain. Et c'est dans ce contexte, justement, que s'inscrivait la démarche initiale du gouvernement, de l'honorable Premier ministre, d'assurer la pérennité du système de la nouvelle SAP, State Age Pension. Mais, Madame la Présidente, gouverner, c'est aussi savoir écouter. Et l'opposition nous accuse souvent de rigidité. Mais l'annonce faite en toute humilité par l'honorable Premier ministre ce matin démontre exactement le contraire. En décidant, Madame la Présidente, de geler l'application de ce test de revenus, de ce means test, le Premier ministre a démontré que lui et son gouvernement sont à l'écoute de ce peuple. Et face aux doutes légitimes, face aux appréhensions formulées par nos aînés, face aux appréhensions, face aux craintes des syndicats durant ces 2 derniers jours, l'honorable Premier ministre a fait preuve non pas d'arrogance comme son prédécesseur, mais d'humilité en favorisant le dialogue. Et ce gel du means test offre justement la clarté et la sérénité que la population réclamait. Il permet de maintenir le filet social tout en prenant le temps d'ajuster les mécanismes de transition de manière juste et inclusive. Et c'est cela, justement, Madame la Présidente, la marque d'un leadership, la marque de leadership de ce gouvernement, de ce Premier ministre, allier la vision macroéconomique et la sensibilité humaine. Et cette décision, Madame la Présidente, préserve le cœur de notre État-providence tout en maintenant le cap sur nos ambitions futures. Madame la Présidente, quant à l'équilibre social de ce budget, ceux qui prétendaient que ce budget ne parlait que de sacrifices ont désormais plus d'arguments. C'est probablement la raison pour laquelle les membres de l'opposition ont tous disparu. Ce budget, Madame la Présidente, est profondément social. Pendant que certains s'enferment uniquement dans la polémique, moi, je regarde l'ensemble du tableau. Je regarde les investissements massifs dans l'éducation. Je regarde l'approfondissement des pouvoirs et des droits accordés aux femmes de ce pays, de cette République, Madame la Présidente. Je regarde la construction des logements sociaux pour les familles à revenus faibles et moyens. Je regarde l'augmentation du seuil du Social Register of Mauritius. Je regarde les 2220 recrutements dans le secteur de la santé. Je regarde les investissements sans précédent dans la lutte implacable de ce gouvernement, la lutte engagée par ce gouvernement contre la drogue. Je regarde les milliards de roupies investis dans notre sécurité alimentaire, l'eau et l'énergie. Voilà la réalité, Madame la Présidente, de ce budget. Un budget qui protège, un budget qui réforme et surtout un budget qui prépare l'avenir. Et quant à l'exemplarité des élus, Madame la Présidente, permettez-moi également de souligner une mesure qui témoigne de la volonté de ce gouvernement, de la volonté des membres de l'Assemblée de ce côté de la Chambre de montrer l'exemple. Beaucoup a été dit ces derniers jours, ces dernières semaines, Madame la Présidente, sur les sacrifices demandés de la population. Et la crédibilité d'un gouvernement, Madame la Présidente, ne se mesure pas uniquement par l'effort qu'il demande à ses citoyens de faire, mais aussi et surtout par les sacrifices qu'il est prêt à s'imposer lui-même. Et l'effort ne peut pas être à sens unique. Il ne peut y avoir une règle pour le citoyen ordinaire et une autre règle pour les élus. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle, Madame la Présidente, je salue les mesures touchant directement les privilèges des parlementaires. Et aujourd'hui, les députés eux-mêmes sont appelés à participer à cet effort national. La limitation, justement, Madame la Présidente, la limitation du duty-free à seulement une voiture par mandat en est un signal clair. Et je dois avouer, Madame la Présidente, qu'à l'annonce de cette mesure, certains collègues, dont moi-même, ont commencé déjà à faire leurs calculs très rapidement, peut-être même plus rapidement que les experts du ministère des Finances. D'ailleurs, Madame la Présidente, après la présentation du budget, de ce budget vendredi dernier, par l'honorable Premier ministre, lorsque j'ai expliqué à mon entourage, à mes camarades, et que même nos avantages en tant que parlementaires étaient revus à la baisse, ils m'ont répondu ceci. Ben enfin un budget où les députés lisent les mesures budgétaires avec autant d'inquiétude que le reste de la population. Madame la Présidente, je dois admettre qu'ils n'avaient pas complètement tort. Mais plus sérieusement, Madame la Présidente, plus sérieusement, lorsque nous demandons au pays de faire preuve de responsabilité, nous devons être prêts à appliquer les mêmes principes nous-mêmes. Because leadership, Madame Speaker, is leading by example. Leadership begins by example. Et si nous demandons aujourd'hui à la population de participer à un effort de redressement, un effort de redressement national, il est normal que les élus soient en première ligne de cet effort. Et justement, Madame la Présidente, quant à la pension, ou quant au bénéfice de la pension à 65 ans au lieu de 2 mandats comme préconisé sous l'ancien système, dans ce contexte, Madame la Présidente, je salue les changements fondamentaux apportés au régime des pensions des parlementaires. Fixer l'éligibilité de la pension à l'âge d'un député à l'âge de 65 ans, Madame la Présidente, et non pas simplement à l'issue de 2 mandats comme ce fut le cas, comme ça a toujours été le cas, démontre en fait une volonté claire d'aligner la fonction publique sur les réalités économiques et démographiques du pays. Et le message, Madame la Présidente, le message est très simple et très clair. Il n'y a plus de 2 catégories de Mauriciens, mais une seule, la catégorie des citoyens mauriciens, qu'ils soient députés ou ministres ou simples citoyens. Et dans ce contexte, dans un contexte économique aussi difficile que le présent, Madame la Présidente, nous sommes bien disposés. Nous sommes bien disposés à faire des sacrifices en guise de solidarité, ne serait-ce que symbolique, avec la population. Mais Madame la Présidente, quand je regarde au paragraphe 329 du discours budget, il est clair que cette mesure, ces sacrifices, Madame la Présidente, effectivement le paragraphe 329, et il est clair que ces sacrifices ne s'appliquent qu'aux serving members, comme nous l'a dit le Premier ministre lors de son discours budget, ne s'appliquent qu'aux serving members of the National Assembly. Même l'annexe du budget, en fait, au paragraphe 27.16, petit e, petit 2, même l'annexe du budget, ce paragraphe, confirme que cela s'appliquera qu'aux membres ayant complété, I quote, « at least 2 terms of office before November 2024, whose preserved pension rights have not yet become payable. » Nombreux, Madame la Présidente, sont les anciens ministres et députés de l'ancien régime, du MSM, ayant complété au moins 2 mandats et qui touchent aujourd'hui une pension grâce à ce système, mais qui sont âgés de bien moins de 65 ans. En fait, l'honorable ministre du Travail, mon confrère, l'honorable Tim, en a fait état ce matin, mais je me suis permis, Madame la Présidente, de faire une petite recherche. Et permettez-moi de vous citer que quelques exemples, Madame la Présidente. Monsieur Yogida Sorminaden, né en 1975, 2 mandats, âgé de 52 ans seulement, touche une pension aujourd'hui. Et malgré ses frasques, malgré toutes ces frasques, je ne connais pas le montant malheureusement, mais c'est quelqu'un qui, à l'âge de 52 ans, né en 1975, touche une pension aujourd'hui. Bobby Hariram, né en 1968, âgé de 58 ans seulement, 2 mandats, touche aujourd'hui une pension. Manish Gobin, né en 1975, 51 ans seulement, 2 ou 3 mandats, touche une pension aujourd'hui, à l'âge de 51 ans. Et cette pension il la touche depuis 1 an et demi, donc à l'âge de 49 ans. Soudesh Kalitcher, né en 1978, 47 ans comme moi, Madame la Présidente, malgré ses frasques, aujourd'hui, touche une pension en tant qu'ancien ministre à l'âge de 47 ans. Monsieur Mahen Kumar Siratan, qui lui s'est permis d'aller à la radio vendredi afin de critiquer ce régime, afin de critiquer ce Premier ministre, afin de critiquer ce budget. Lui, à l'âge né en 1964, 62 ans seulement, touche une pension. Ravi Rigadou, ancien attorney général, né en 1975, 51 ans seulement, aujourd'hui touche une pension en tant qu'ancien ministre, ancien attorney général. Et pas le moins l'ancien Premier ministre, Madame la Présidente, Pravin Jagnat, toujours n'ayant pas atteint l'âge de 65 ans, aujourd'hui touche une pension de Premier ministre. Alors mon invitation solennelle, Madame la Présidente, j'aimerais bien, de manière la plus formelle, de manière la plus solennelle, inviter ces gens-là, de montrer l'exemple, d'indiquer le cap, comme j'ai toujours l'habitude de dire, au lieu d'aller à la radio et de critiquer ce régime, au lieu d'aller à la radio et de critiquer ce budget, donnez l'exemple, prenez l'engagement solennel, public, devant la population, qu'ils renonceront à jouir de cette pension en tant qu'ancien ministre jusqu'à ce qu'ils atteignent l'âge de 65 ans, comme nous tous, Madame la Présidente. Parce que, Madame la Présidente, le leadership exige l'exemplarité. Le leadership exige aussi de renoncer à ses propres avantages lorsque l'intérêt supérieur de la nation l'exige. Et c'est ce que nous avons tous été appelés ici à faire. Et nous le faisons. Nous le faisons, Madame la Présidente, avec gaieté de cœur. Et permettez-moi de vous dire, Madame la Présidente, nombreux sont les députés parmi nous qui, demain, si nous ne sommes pas élus, le système, le pays dans lequel nous vivons, avec les persécutions que nous avons connues sous le MSM, des gens qui sont probablement hautement qualifiés, mais qui auront des difficultés à trouver de l'emploi sous un régime dirigé par le MSM, connaissant la persécution du MSM, même à travers les firmes privées. Mais nous avons accepté de faire preuve de solidarité, Madame la Présidente. Nous avons accepté de faire preuve de solidarité et de faire des sacrifices. Et c'est précisément ce qu'a fait ce gouvernement par le truchement de ces mesures budgétaires. Madame la Présidente, je ne parlerai pas plus que ça, mais en guise de conclusion. En guise de conclusion, je dirais ceci. Ce budget 2026-2027 ne choisit pas la facilité des applaudissements éphémères, mais trace la voie de la responsabilité historique pour la postérité, pour nos petits-enfants, pour la future génération. Nous aurions pu, comme d'autres, Madame la Présidente, comme d'autres qui l'ont fait avant nous, notamment le MSM, nous aurions pu fermer les yeux, accumuler les dettes et léguer l'effondrement de notre modèle social aux générations futures. Mais le Premier ministre, Madame la Présidente, a choisi la voie courageuse, a choisi la voie de la sagesse, celle de réformer et réformer pour protéger. Le courage de s'autodiscipliner pour être crédible. Et en guise de conclusion, Madame la Présidente, je citerai la dernière conclusion, justement, je citerai cette formule magistrale, Madame la Présidente, de l'homme d'État qui était Pierre Mendès France, qui disait ceci: gouverner, c'est choisir, si difficile que soient les choix. Gouverner, c'est ne jamais plaire ou flatter. Donc ce budget, Madame la Présidente, notre économie, fortifie, ce budget consolide notre économie, fortifie notre tissu social et redéfinit l'éthique politique à Maurice et représente un budget de transformation, de justice et d'avenir. Et c'est précisément pour cette raison, Madame la Présidente, que je soutiens ce projet de loi. Merci.
Honourable Ramkalawan.
Madam Speaker and members of the House, it has been said that one should measure their success not by how many people serve the vision, but how well the vision serves the people. Weak leaders use people to build their personal monument, while great leaders use their platform to build up the people. It defines the vision not as a personal daydream, but as a public blueprint. The debate in this chamber today is robust as it should be in any vibrant democracy. And as we dissect the lines and argue the figures, we made sure that we did not lose sight of the people who sent us here. Madam Speaker, today we rise above partisan division to deliver the stability, security, and prosperity our citizens deserve. Honorable colleagues, the pages of the budget before you represent more than fiscal policy. They represent a promise that we can and we will build an economy that works for everyone, an economy where hard work is rewarded, where vulnerable citizens are protected, and where our businesses can go head to head with the best in the world. As mentioned by our leader, the path of least resistance could have been chosen, but was not. Instead, the most challenging path of reform to build economy and society was chosen. With utmost honor and pride, I will start my speech today, not only as a member of this assembly, but as a representative of the vibrant and hardworking people of Constituency 9. This budget directly addresses the health, infrastructure, and sporting aspirations of our youth, our families, and our elders. Madam Speaker, a well-connected region is an economically empowered region. For too long, the villages in our corridor have faced logistical bottlenecks. Our leader has answered the call of Constituency 9 by allocating 2 billion rupees for the M4 motorway project. This critical highway connecting Forbach directly to the airport will slice through our region, opening up unparalleled economic opportunities for our local villages. It will cut down travel times, boost local commerce, and seamlessly integrate FLAC into the primary economic veins of our nation. I will further add saying that true national reconstruction is about converting past liabilities into future assets. In our fight against the devastating drug scourge affecting families across the island, our leader has taken a compassionate, multi-pronged approach rooted in healing. For Constituency 9, this means a major healthcare milestone. The budget officially funds the conversion of one entire wing of the old FLAC hospital into a state-of-art rehabilitation center. It will offer therapeutic support, cognitive behavioral therapy, family counseling, and life skills development. We are giving our youth a helping hand to escape the drug trap, bringing healing directly to the heart of FLAC. Madam Speaker, sport underlies the unity, discipline, and opportunity of our youth. We believe in investing heavily in the physical and civic development of the next generation. I am overjoyed to highlight two massive sporting development for our residents showcased in the 2026-2027 budget. First, the budget provides direct funding for the construction of a brand new modern swimming pool right here in FLAC. Second, our historic Auguste Volea Stadium will undergo a comprehensive structural upgrade and renovation. These are not merely recreational facilities, Madam Speaker. These are regional hubs where our youth will train, build character, and prepare to compete on national and international stages. Furthermore, the 2026-2027 budget speech marks a paradigm shift in the national strategy towards gender equality and women's empowerment. This budget integrates women's empowerment across multiple pillars of national development, including institutional governance, economic independence, legislative protection, health equity, and familial structural reform. A standout feature of the current administrative era highlighted in the budget is the mainstreaming of women into the highest echelon of public leadership. Political and institutional inclusion has moved past cosmetic representation. Women are actively holding foundational roles that shape the nation's judicial, economic, and local government frameworks. Madam Speaker, on this day, I say it with utmost pride that women serve in top constitutional and economic roles, including the Chief Justice, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Speaker of the National Assembly, and the Governor of the Bank of Mauritius. Even today we saw it, that the leader of the opposition feels protected thanks to you. Yes. Leadership at the municipal level has seen a drastic expansion, with women occupying 7 out of 10 mayor and deputy mayor positions, notably including the Lord Mayoress and Deputy Lord Mayoress of Port Louis. To institutionalize this leadership trend, the government is introducing mandatory legislation ensuring a minimum of 25% female representation on the boards of all parastatal bodies. The budget establishes a top-down model for gender parity. As I stand in this house today, I would like to applaud all the strong ladies around us for their everyday commitment and endeavor. Let us just take 1 second to spell the word female, which starts with F-E, which the scientific symbol is that of iron. You are the Iron Man. Yes. True empowerment is impossible without financial self-reliance. The budget introduces robust policies to remove historic structural and financial barriers that have hindered female entrepreneurs and professionals. In a major legislative victory for marital financial autonomy, the budget amends existing property and banking laws so that women applying for loans will no longer require spousal consent. This reform eradicates a patriarchal bottleneck, giving women direct, uninhibited access to credit markets to fund businesses, acquire assets, or pursue personal development. As a sociologist and strong, fervent admirer of feminist perspective, I am honored to say that to actively foster female entrepreneurship, the budget deploys dedicated financial resources and intellectual frameworks. An allocation of 5 million rupees is provided to establish a specialized incubator for women under the SME scheme. This ensures tailored mentoring, physical space, and foundational toolkits for business scaling. The budget introduces progressive amendment to parental leave frameworks that position the country at the forefront of global workplace welfare. These measures recognize the burden of unpaid care. Work disproportionately falls on women, often derailing their career trajectories. Madam Speaker, no rock was left unturned with maternity leave, which has been dramatically extended to a total of 12 months. Under this framework, the first 6 months are fully compensated at full salary, while the subsequent 6 months remain optional at half pay. This gives new mothers the job security and financial cushion needed to balance maternal care with professional ambitions. To encourage shared parental responsibility and ease the domestic burden on mothers, paternity leave is expanded from 4 to 6 weeks, an idea warmly welcomed by, as we call it in sociological terms, by the new men. Madam Speaker, speaking about the second pillar of the economy, the government positions the education sector as the primary vehicle for upward social mobility and breaking cyclical exclusion. Despite facing severe pressures of fiscal consolidation, the budget implements a significant financial injection into the academic ecosystem, expanding the combined budget for the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Tertiary Education by 2.6 billion. The state's educational philosophy for this fiscal cycle transitions away from traditional rote models towards an inclusive, future-ready framework centered on AI, integration, practical vocational pathways, and modernized tertiary systems. Over the coming years, all 8,000 secondary school teachers across the island will be trained and equipped with personalized AI teaching tools designed to optimize lesson preparation, classroom delivery, assessment generation, and individual student feedback. Concurrently, 12,000 grade 9 students will receive direct access to advanced AI-enabled learning tools. Madam Speaker, coming to the SEN, the state generously catered for children with special needs. The SEN sector received a dedicated budget expansion, climbing from 562 million to 619 million with key structural intervention, including the creation of a specialized early intervention unit in primary schools for children aged 3 and 5. Directly recruiting occupational therapists, speech therapists, and physiotherapists to be permanently posted within SEN institutions. Implementing a 20% increase in sessional fees for specialist support services attending to SEN learners. Refunding taxi fares for children with disabilities who attend registered primary schools. Madam Speaker, speaking about vocational scholarships, the government is introducing 2 brand new scholarships explicitly dedicated to students thriving within the vocational stream. No child will eventually be left behind. Coming to our healthcare, Madam Speaker, I would like to highlight that to immediately resolve structural distress and address the need of frontline medical workers, this budget funds a massive recruitment and upskilling drive. The government is providing for the direct recruitment of 2,220 medical and paramedical staff, including nurses, to bolster existing capacities. The regional health advisory boards within regional hospitals will be re-engineered to explicitly integrate patient representation, introducing direct citizen oversight into healthcare delivery. Speaking about digitalization, healthcare professionals and future clinical leaders will undergo structured training in AI. A dedicated healthcare innovation and AI unit will be established to evaluate the safely deploy high-tech tools to optimize diagnostic efficiency. A capital injection of 1.2 billion is allocated to modernize, re-engineer, and physically expand national healthcare infrastructure through specific projects. 1. Construction of a brand new modern SSRN hospital, which will include integrated medical research facilities at Pamplemousses. Second, establishment of Africa's first Ayush Center Excellence, marking the very first iteration of this specialized center outside of India. Third, construction of a modern national health laboratory. Fourth, deployment of a dedicated dialysis unit permanently stationed at the ENT hospital. Madam Speaker, this budget injects 40 million rupees specifically to overhaul diabetes prevention frameworks and specialized treatment protocols. To address an aging population, every regional hospital will be structurally upgraded to house 2 dedicated geriatric wards specializing in the acute care of the elderly. My constitution is already following this step. Furthermore, domiciliary medical visits will be extended down to individuals aged 85 and above, backed by a 58 billion fund. Madam Speaker, we will hear voices across the aisle criticizing this budget, but let history record that while the opposition specializes in grievances, our leader specializes in governance. This budget manages our fiscal deficit and national debt with surgical precision, ensuring international confidence while keeping our domestic economy vibrant. I applaud our honorable leader for his stellar leadership, his unwavering courage for this budget. I commend this budget to the House. Thank you.
Honourable Minister of Education.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move for the adjournment of the debates.
Needs to be seconded. Yes, thank you, Minister. Question is that the debate be now adjourned. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Yes, Prime Minister.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I move for the adjournment of the House to tomorrow, Tuesday, the 23rd of June at 11:30 a.m.
Yes, motion seconded. DPM. The House stands adjourned.